Welcome to another episode of Ronaldo TV. I am your host, Ronaldo J, and if I must say, today is a good day. What's been happening with you folks? I know what's been happening on the interwebs. Can't get enough about what's been going on with this Miss Rachel Dolezal. And for everyone who's out there who hasn't quite caught up, she happens to be a Caucasian lady, and she's been representing herself as African American for the past 10 years. This lady was able to really get away with that for as long as she has, and nobody came up with it, no one discovered it, no one figured it out until now. And it was only because her parents outed her. So for me personally, I don't really have a problem with it. I mean, to be honest with you, she is down for the cause, if you will. She's been fighting for civil rights and civil justice for disenfranchised minority communities. So that to me is not a problem that she wants to identify, because this really deals with the topic that we know of as what's called passing. Because in African American families, we're an eclectic mix of a lot of different groups of people. People who are descendants from sub-Saharan African slaves don't tend to be all fully sub-Saharan African. I mean, you can find most black people will have some racial mixture. We vary in different degrees of shade and facial shape, undertones in your skin, your hair growth pattern. So it's just a lot of what makes African American culture, right? You can find plenty of black people that are going from one shade of the spectrum to the other shade of the spectrum. My wife is a dark-skinned woman. I'm a fairly fair-skinned guy, yet we're both still African American. My wife has Chinese ancestry, and I have Native American and white ancestry. Yet we both identify with our culture. But then there's another question. So you talk about, passing. I mean, if you look at Adam Clayton Powell, that guy, for all intents and purposes, he's a black guy, but you look at him, not really. Being African American, being black, that's a distinction. That's actually a pretty good distinction. There's a difference between being African American and being racially classified as black. Now, across the world, because people may see this in different countries, across the world and in different cultures, different societies, what constitutes blackness is a completely different animal. And even in the United States right now, it's changing. As it used to be, 1/16 of traceable African ancestry was able to classify that person legally as African American. Come forward to 2015, it's not the same anymore, because now we're breaching upon this idea, the identity of multiracialism. So that idea behind what's passing, going back to that idea of passing, black folks have been doing it for a long time. There was a movie called The Human Stain. It was starring Anthony Hopkins. He was playing an African American doctor who actually was passing to be able to work at Johns Hopkins University. There's another one, I believe it was called Imitation of Life, a movie from way back when. Again, it talked about the issues of passing. A young black girl from the South ends up growing up, and she was just light enough to where she could pass as a white person. It's really not a new concept in the African American culture. My problem, though, is the issue that it is an integrity issue. There's a problem with the truth. And, in order for her to have obtained the positions that she's had over the years, to me, that's the challenge. I have no problem with her trying to be black or wanting to be black, wanting to be down for the cause. I don't have a problem with that at all, because I think it's actually fairly noble to be able to say that I can identify with disenfranchised minority communities, and I want to be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem. The challenge, though, is that your credibility now suffers in every capacity from here on out. So even if the NAACP decides that they want to keep her on as the president of their local chapter, it's going to cause a little bit of difficulty, because there are always going to be some people who say she shouldn't be on there, and there are always going to be people who are going to go the opposite direction and say, yeah, we still want her to be the president here. That controversy in and of itself could affect the overall mission and goal for their local community, and it may not get progress, and it may not get things done the way that they want them. My whole point, though, is to say is that this story with this Rachel Dolezal is incredible. I've been hearing on Twitter right now, talking about trans-ethnic or transracial. What I'd really like to know is why her parents decided to wait 10 years to out her right now. I think there might be some deeper issues in with the family because they decided that they didn't want to say anything in the past, but yet they just choose now. I read online it was a reporter that was doing a follow-up story and trying to find out more about her and why her father couldn't come to some event, and they sort of ambushed her on camera. Rachel Dolezal, are you African American?
I don't understand the question.
So, that was hilarious. I mean, how could you not know that? Apparently she was supposed to do a press conference today. That has been canceled. It's been shut down by the NAACP. I guess they're trying to get a hold of it, get their Olivia Pope specialist out and get ahead of this before it gets out of control. When you talk about this sort of thing, it really gets a lot of the people's interest in talking about race. Just a really good conversation starter. Have this conversation with someone with another race. See what they think about it. See exactly, does race matter? Does it really matter that a person who is white is the president of the NAACP? Or what are the other issues that come up? Personally, I don't have a problem with it at all. I know a lot of people, and I've seen online on both sides of the racial fence, that have a problem with it. But that's why this is America and we have free speech. Okay. That's enough from me. Appreciate the time. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Peace, and as always, have a blessed day.